welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, my name is Angel and today I'll be sharing some more fun and simple DIYs. Don't forget, if you enjoy this video, to leave me a big thumbs up, and if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel and click on that little notification bell so that you don't miss out on any of my future videos.
For all of today's projects, we're going to be using this brand new macrame cord that I found in my Dollar Tree. You'll have to let me know if you have seen this in your local stores. I also found the Dollar Tree now has these wood beads, so I went ahead and picked some of those up to use for this project as well. We are going to be making a bookmark. You can see here I didn't really measure out the cord, but I think it was about 12 inches. And then I'm just going to be taking another piece of cord and I'm going to measure out, it was about 4 feet because I went ahead and used that first cord. And then once I had that first cord cut out, I used it and I'm going to cut down 2 more cords the same length. And don't worry if you didn't pick up those measurements, I'm going to put everything in the description box below. Now once I have those cords cut down, I'm going to go ahead and fold those over in half, and we're going to attach all 3 of those to that first cord. Now I do recommend using some tape to tape down those ends of that first cord, just so your project's not moving around while you're working on it. And once I had that tape down, you can see I just went ahead and attached those 2 other cords to the first cord. Once everything is attached, you're going to go ahead and split those. You should have 6 cords hanging down. You're going to split 3 to the right and 3 to the left. So I know I've only shown square knots on my videos before, but today we're going to be doing a clove hitch knot or a double hitch knot, whatever you want to call it. But you're just going to take that very first cord, pull it to the right over top of both of the other cords, and then you're going to wrap that cord around the cord that you're pulling to the right. And I know this sounds a little bit complicated the way I'm explaining it. It's hard to explain, but I will post a diagram right now of how this knot is supposed to be done. And I made sure that I didn't speed up the video too much so that you could see exactly how I'm doing it, because if you're like me, you're a visual learner. And I'm going to do this a couple of times for you. So we're going to go ahead and do those knots. And when you do them, you're going to do them 2 times. So we're going to start on this right side and I'll explain it again. So make sure that you take that cord all the way over top of the 2 other cords. You're going to pull that knot upward. Then you're going to wrap it a second time. Put your cord through that little loop and pull it again. Now you just want to make sure that you are keeping that cord that you have pulled over really tight. That cord's not moving. Just the cords that you're working with are moving upward. And you want to make sure that you're doing it 2 times. Then once you have the knots made on the left side and the right side, you're going to go back to those 2 middle cords and you're going to make another double hitch knot right in the middle by taking the cord from the right over top of the cord from the left. And again, you're going to do that 2 times. And now you have completed your first row. So we're going to go back to the left side. You're going to put that first cord over top of the second 2 cords, and again we're going to make those knots. We're going to go over once and then we're going to go over that cord twice. Then we're going to move on to the second cord and do the exact same thing. You're just doing the exact same thing over and over to make your rows. Now again, we're going to go over to that right side. You're going to take the very last cord, put it over top of the other 2 cords from the right side, and make your knots. I know this seems a little complicated, but I promise once you start doing it and you get into a rhythm, it will go by so quickly. And it is so easy to do. And again, once you finish that right side, you're going to go ahead and take that cord from the right, put it over the cord from the left in the center, and do your double hitch knot in the center. Then you're just going to go ahead and keep completing those rows, doing the exact same thing. Here is mine. When it was all finished, I ended up doing about 14 rows. And then I'm just going to take a piece of tape and I'm going to cut down those little end tassels to make them straight across. Then I went ahead and took that tape off of the piece that we attached everything to, and that's where I'm going to add 2 little beads to the top of there, and then I'm just going to tie a knot at the top, and you have yourself a cute little bookmark. This last part is totally optional, but I'm going to take this pet brush from Dollar Tree and I'm going to brush out my end tassels to make them feathery and light. I will trim those down again, and like I said, this is optional. You could totally just use a regular brush or a comb to do this, and then you have yourself a bookmark that you can keep or you could give as a gift. For this next project, we're going to be making a towel hanger, and I picked up these wood rings at Dollar Tree. Yes, they have wood rings now. I was super excited to find these there. I think they come in a pack of 5 or 6 maybe, but I'm also going to be using some more of that Dollar Tree macrame cord. So for this project, I did go ahead and pull out my ruler to measure the pieces of cord for it, and you're gonna see that I measure out about 14 feet for the cords, but it was actually really long at the end of this, so I'm gonna recommend you do probably about maybe 10 or 11 feet for this project. And for this project, you will need 4 pieces. Now, once I had all 4 pieces cut down, I'm gonna go ahead and put those onto one of those wood rings. Again, you're just gonna fold that over in half, and we're gonna attach it with a lark's head knot onto the ring. And again, same as last time, once I had those attached, I'm going to tape down that wood ring. Now, very similar to our previous project with the bookmark, you're going to go ahead and split those cords in half. You should have 4 on the left side and 4 on the right side. We are going to be doing the same knot that we did for the bookmark, but we're going to start on the opposite side. So instead of bringing that first cord over top of all your other cords, you're actually going to go to the very last cord on the left hand side, and you're going to pull that over the first 3 cords and start doing those same knots that we did for the bookmark. So basically, instead of doing like an upside down triangle type pattern, we are going to be doing a triangle pattern for this one. And just like before with the bookmark, once we finished on the left-hand side, we're going to start on that right-hand side again. This time we are grabbing the first cord and pulling it over top of the other 3 cords to start making our knots. Now, once you finish that right side, you're going to go to the middle and you're going to grab the middle 4 cords, and we're going to make 1 square knot. Now, I have shown this knot many times on my channel. I actually have some other macrame videos that you can check out. I will put them in the description box below, but I am doing it very slowly here so that you can see this is a very simple knot, and I will also put a picture up right now of how exactly to do this knot. And again, we're just doing 1 square knot right here in the middle. Once you have your square knot complete, you're going to go ahead and separate those cords once again, 4 on the left and 4 on the right. Now here is where it might become just a little confusing, but just like we did the bookmark now, we're going to go back and do these knots exactly like the bookmark. So we're going to start with the first cord this time, and we're going to go over the next 3 cords with that first cord and continue making knots. And when I finish, you're going to see that this is starting to look like a diamond pattern. I know this one is just a little bit confusing, and don't worry, this was actually my first time making this pattern too, and I picked it right up. It's actually super simple to do once you understand what you're doing, and that's why I didn't really slow the video down again this time, because I wanted you to be able to see exactly what I'm doing. Now we're going to finish off the knots on the left side, and we're going to move to the right side. Again, this time on the right side, you're going to pick up that last cord and put it across the first 3 cords to start making your knots. And just remember, the same as when we did the bookmark, when you make your knots, you're going to make sure you double those cords over twice. And you can definitely see the diamond pattern taking shape now. And of course, again, just like with the bookmark, you're going to take those 2 center cords, the right one over top of the left. You're going to wrap that cord around the right one to close up your diamond. Now I'm going to show you one more time. Starting back on the left hand side, we are going to start with that last cord again this time, just like we did at the very top, and we're going to continue making those knots. So basically you're just going back and forth, either starting with the last cord or the first cord to make the knots around. And we are going to continue this diamond pattern all the way down. Then we will go back to the right side again, and now you're going to start with the first cord on the right side, just like you did at the top, and you're going to wrap all the other cords around that one. And now, at the risk of sounding repetitive, once you finish that right side, you're going to go in the middle, grab the middle 4 cords, and do another square knot. Then you're just going to repeat the bottom half of that diamond again, starting with the left side. You are just going to go ahead and repeat this pattern all the way down. I did 6 diamonds for my towel hanger. And right here you can just see how much cord I had left over, which was a ton. So like I said, you may want to just do 10 to 11 feet for your cords. Now for almost the very last step of this, we need to attach that bottom wood ring, and you can see here I already did a couple cords, but I am going to show you how to attach it right here. So if you lay your ring on top of your little towel hanger, you're going to start by putting the cord through that ring, wrapping it around back to the front. Then you're going to grab just a little bit of that cord. I just like to put it in my fingers to hold it. You can see here, I'm just going to hold it between my fingers, and then I'm going to stick that back through the ring. Then you're going to push that cord up through the little loop that you made with your fingers and pull it tight. So we're going to do that with each one of those cords that is hanging at the bottom. You can also see here in my left hand, I am kind of holding over the cords that I already did so that they don't get tangled in. But again, you're going to just loop that around, hold that little piece in your hand so that you make a loop. Then you're going to put that cord through that loop and pull it tight. And once I was finished, I just went ahead and trimmed that down a little bit. And now I'm going to flip that over, take my hot glue gun, and I'm just going to hot glue all of those strands down at the top where I made the knot so that I can trim off all of those extra strands and my knots won't come undone. And once again, you have a very pretty decorative accent for your home or as a gift for someone else. For this final project, we are of course going to be using some more of that macrame cord and another wood ring. Now for this final project, I did make a few mistakes. Mistake number one being I only measured out 7 feet of cord when I definitely ran out and you need more. I would say you need at least 8 feet for your cords. And you're going to go ahead and cut 4 of those out. Now, mistake number 2 that I made, and I don't know why I thought this was a good idea, but I attached all of my cords together to my little wood round. Actually, you should definitely attach them individually. But once I finished attaching those to the wood ring, I did go ahead and tape it down. And again, just like every other project, you are going to go ahead and separate those. You should have 4 on the left and 4 on the right. And for this project, we are going to do a very simple spiral knot. Now, all you have to do is make half a square knot. That's it. That is all we are doing for this project. Just over and over, instead of doing a full square knot, you are just going to keep doing it from the same side over and over, and you'll notice that it starts to spiral. Once it starts to spiral around, you can actually flip it over to go with the spiral and just continue making those half square knots. Now you're going to want this to be about 5.5 to 6 inches. Once you have it at the length that you want it, then you're going to go ahead and start on that right side and you're going to do the exact same thing. Now, I don't know if this is mistake number 3, but at this point I realized I should have bought one of Dollar Tree's plunger handles and just cut that down to use as the rod for this toilet paper holder. But at the time, all I had was this dowel rod. Now to attach this rod, you're going to go ahead and you're going to make 1 full square knot, and you're going to do that on the left side and the right side. Then we're going to go back to that left side and we're going to leave a little space in between, and we're going to make another full square knot. Then you're going to go ahead and continue making square knots until it fits around your dowel. And you'll see in just a minute exactly what I'm talking about. We're just going to be making what's called a berry knot. I think I ended up doing about 5 square knots maybe, but you can see here I'm using my dowel to see if that will fit around it. Obviously, if you're using something thicker, you're going to need more square knots. And once you have enough square knots to fit around whatever dowel you're using, you can see here, I am opening up the center of that little space that we left, and I'm gonna slip those 2 middle cords through the hole. Now again, we are not putting the working cords that we've been using to tie the knots through. These are the longer center cords that have been hanging down. And once you have those cords through, you're going to pull those down really tight, and those 2 cords that you've been making square knots with, you're going to go ahead and make another square knot under your berry knot. And this is going to keep your berry knot from coming undone. Now, once I moved over to the right side to do this all over again, this is kind of the point where I realized I wasn't gonna have enough cord. Did I try to do it anyway? Yes, I did, and it did not work out. I ended up having to redo this whole thing. So definitely make sure that you are cutting at least 8 feet of cord for this project if you decide to do it. But here is how the final project turned out after I redid it, and I also changed the dowel rod to a bigger one. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you all enjoyed it, and I will see you next time.